morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. Week 17, we are here. Week 17 is the new week 18. I have decided because I don't know like if this is going to be a trend moving forward. I would assume it is. But, a few years ago, week 18 was the glorious kind of, we were playing backups. It was like a preseason slate. And that has just become week 17 because the same thing's going on. We have teams tanking, holding players out, unmotivated teams, motivated teams. So lots to digest and work through. If you're in the chat, let me know how you're doing. Kevin, good morning. Obviously, I had a terrible day yesterday. Chargers should have won that game. Had them on the money line. I don't understand how they didn't win that game. The statistically most accurate kicker in the history of football is missing extra points and 30-yard kicks. Oronde Gadsden dropped, an easy, at least would have been a first down. They would have been on like the 1-yard line. Houston did absolutely nothing in that game on offense outside of the first 10 minutes of the first quarter when there was like two kind of broken coverages and they just threw a long touchdown. But yeah, the Chargers should have won that game. And then, picked wrong. I was debating Malik Willis versus Luke Musgrave all day. Of course, I picked wrong. Musgrave didn't even get a catch. That sucked. But yeah, Houston won at least to end the night. But we're on to today. We're going to talk DFS and then we'll talk bets. I do have some touchdowns that I like today, which we will talk about. Don't really like any sides today. You could talk me into like Seattle, maybe. Yeah. You could talk me into Seattle. You could, as much as I don't like the Chicago Bears, not that I don't like them, but just we've kind of faded them all year. You could maybe talk me into the Bears side of that one tonight, but we'll talk about everything. I also have a championship matchup pulled up here on the screen. This has been a pillow fight thus far. Less than 10 from JMO and Nico for me. And then my opponent, 5 from Franklin, 11 from Javante, 5 from Schultz, 5 from his defense. Current projections have us dead even. I don't know what's going to happen in this game. I have a feeling Puka and Bijan are just going to bury me tomorrow night. I need a really, really big lead going to tomorrow. I also have George Kittle, who's not going to play in this game tonight. So that's super unfortunate. I'm going to need Drake May to really, really crush today if I want a chance of winning this. But all right. So starting on the DFS side of things, I have not finalized my DraftKings cash team. I have finalized pretty much everything else. So if you guys have questions on anything, go ahead and ask there. Looking at quarterback, I think we have three or four main quarterbacks that are going to garner a bunch of attention today. That being Trevor Lawrence, who I believe is the cash game option on both DraftKings and FanDuel. If you're playing cash games today, I would be playing Trevor Lawrence on both sites. So he's the highest projected owned option, followed by Joe Burrow and Jacoby Brissett in that high total Cincinnati-Arizona game. 53.5 point total there. Should be plenty of offense, given how those defenses have played. Melissa, thank you for tuning in. Mitchell, what's up? Drake May's crushing today. I completely agree. We will talk about that. But yeah, so Lawrence at the top, Joe Burrow, Brissett in that game, and then Drake May, Tyler Shugg, I guess, is the next tier. You have Baker in there too, who I played last week a little bit. He's in a good spot against Miami. So that's kind of the player pool at quarterback, in my opinion. I really like Drake May today. Mitchell, I agree. The Jets have just been completely dead in the water defensively the last month. And I don't really think Drake May has any chance of taking the MVP award from Matthew Stafford, but they have all the reason to try and go get it. You also have a very consolidated target tree there because they're missing Matt Collins, who's been running a lot of routes. They're missing Kayshon Boutte, who we know has been involved all season. So you take those two out, and Pop Douglas might not play either. We're still waiting on word there. Like, we're getting a really consolidated target tree for Drake May in what is like the best possible spot for him in a game where he's motivated to go out there and put up numbers to try and get himself back into the MVP conversation. So I agree, Mitchell. I think Drake May is probably my favorite play on the board today. And I'd follow that with Burrow, Lawrence, and probably Baker. Honestly, Miami's been a super big pass funnel. So you could talk me into Baker again, just stacking him up with Mike Evans, who we will talk about later. Kevin, you have May or Burrow season long. That's crazy. I'd probably go Drake May, but you really can't go wrong, Kevin. Whatever you feel best with there is fine, but I would lean Drake May personally. Scott, what's up? T-Fer getting another one today. So my favorite touchdowns we'll talk about, but last week we hit Mike Evans anytime first touchdown. He should have had 2+ as well. I think he had 4 end zone targets, caught one of them. They threw him the ball on the 1-yard line 3 times. No, Melissa, it'll be the normal. I haven't posted the cash team yet. I have the 3 tournament teams posted, but not the cash team. That'll be up after this. They were throwing him the ball on the 1-yard line multiple times. He should have had 2 touchdowns. I like him again today for my favorite overall play. Just go right back to it. It's a really good spot against Miami. He's clearly the guy that Baker trusts the most, and because of how much time he missed due to injury, they've really been forcing him the ball since he's come back and just trying to get him as much as they can as the season winds down here. So I like there should be 3 up maybe. I'm going to post the screenshot after, so I don't know, maybe there's like an error, but I'll post it after the stream. But it'll be the normal amount of teams. But they've really been forcing him the ball, so I like him again against Miami, Mike Evans for my favorite. I also like taking some long shots in the New England game, like I was just talking about. Getting a consolidated target tree there, and I really like the spot for Drake May. So you're getting really good value on anybody, basically, that's not Stephon Diggs. I guess Hunter Henry is low odds as well, plus 125. But you can get Kyle Williams, who has scored touchdowns this season, deep threat. I like taking deep threats against heavy man coverage defenses because it just takes him, a guy slips and falls, and he's going to be wide open. There's not going to be that much help over the top for a deep threat like him. So Kyle Williams at 3-1 looks good. And then honestly, Austin Hooper at 5-1 on DraftKings. I could see him with how banged up the receiving room is. I could see them playing more 2 tight end today. I could see Austin Hooper getting on the field. He could be a big body, red zone threat. So getting him at 5-1 feels pretty good too. So I like taking some long shots there with the New England touchdown props. Mike Evans, my favorite overall, but I like Kyle Williams and Austin Hooper in that New England game. I want to see if Efton Chisholm plays at all. I wouldn't bet him because it's still an unknown. He could just play on special teams, but we liked him a lot in the preseason. I think he's a good football player. So if he actually gets a chance, he could contribute. But I think we would need Pop Douglas to be out to get Efton Chisholm actually on the field and running routes. Let me see. Anything else from a touchdown stuff that I like? I mean, Chase is you'd have to parlay Chase, but I obviously like him. I think he just feels due for one. Hasn't scored since week 7. They scored 1 billion points last week, and he somehow didn't contribute to that. I could see them trying to get him a TD here as the season winds down. So I like Chase, but that would have to be more of a parlay because he's like minus 160. Evans, I talked about. Jacksonville should score a lot of points today. You could take a shot on Parker Washington again. He has really good splits against the coverages that the Colts run. And I mean, he's been a touchdown scorer all season. He also can return kicks, so you kind of get a double dip opportunity there for him to score a touchdown. So you could talk me into Parker Washington. I've seen a lot of people on Taysom Hill touchdown today. I'm avoiding that. If you watch the press conference after last week's game, the Saints, Taysom Hill was literally crying in the post-game press conference, saying, that was maybe my last game ever in New Orleans, like in their home stadium, and it meant a lot for him. So they were like super motivated to get him the ball last week in a variety of ways. I don't necessarily think that's the same case this week on the road, so I'm probably avoiding that one. He's pretty popular from what I've seen. Yeah, Cook is obviously good. No issues there. Melissa, I think he's pretty much, I would say, one of the safest options you could go with. I've talked about the Eagles' run defense the last few weeks. It's been pretty bad. So I could definitely see him having a big game as well. And then in the night game, I'm going to tweet it out later, but I really like Luther Burden. He's playing again. No Romo Dunze. Just perfect storm for Luther Burden. He's been coming on. I know he missed last week, but when he's played, he's been very good. San Francisco's defense is terrible. Like, we just saw them give up 275 passing yards to Phillip Rivers. The Bears should have plenty of success through the air tonight, just in general. And he plays in the slot majority where, San Francisco's been really, really bad this season. So Luther Burden might be my favorite overall over Mike Evans, but he just plays tonight. So, yeah, those are my two favorites. Really like Luther Burden tonight. I'm going to be on him anytime and first touchdown as well. I think I prefer Downs if I was picking a Colts guy. I know Pierce had a huge game last week, but I just don't know like what the Colts are playing for here. I'm pretty surprised that Rivers is playing in this game, considering they are not in the playoff mix anymore. They're eliminated. But Josh Downs feels better to me, and you're getting a better price. He's like plus 310. I'm seeing Pierce at plus 290. So I like Downs if I'm picking a Colts receiver. But overall, Mike Evans, Luther Burden, Parker Washington, Jamar Chase, and then the long shots in the Patriots game from the Patriots, Kyle Williams, Austin Hooper, guys like that. Those are my favorite overall spots today. Continuing on the DFS conversation, pretty tight quarterback pool for me. If we switch to running back, just a huge ownership tag on Ashton Genty today. Barkley or Chase Brown in cash? I would go Chase. Actually, Scott, I don't know. I don't know if people will be playing either of them. I think Genty ETN is going to be really popular. I'd probably pick Chase Brown over Barkley if I were picking one of them, though. I would go Chase Brown. Jacoby or Wandale in cash, CJ. I'd probably go Jacoby. Feels safer to me, and I think the ceiling is like better. Like I think I feel safer with Jacoby, and his ceiling is better anyways. So I would lean Jacoby. Dewan, what's up? Hopefully you're feeling all right. First night out in 5 years. Oh man. Hopefully you're not too banged up today. But I think Genty and ETN are both going to be super popular today. I'm seeing over like 60% ownership on Genty. Happy belated birthday, Dewan. I had no idea. I'm glad that you were able to go celebrate, though. JT, I'll just go in terms of ownership projection right now. Genty, ETN, JT, Tyrone Tracy, Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Saquon Barkley. Those are like the top 6 or 7 that I see. I like Genty a lot. No problems playing him even at this high ownership. I think that's fine. Same case for ETN. I think those guys are good chalk. Taylor's the one I'm a little bit concerned about. Jacksonville's defense is really good. Again, I don't know why Rivers is playing in this game, given that they're eliminated. And he's really struggled basically since Daniel Jones went down. Not him individually, but just the offense as a whole. It's just really easy for the defense to put all their focus on him. And, he really can't get anything going. So I would be more willing to fade JT, I think. Chase Brown is fine. Don't really love his role recently. Like, Perine's been more involved than people think, but the matchup against Arizona is so good, and it's a 50 total. So, it's fine. Tracy looks fine to me. Bucky, I think, is really good if you get him low owned. I think there's a good chance he actually comes in single digit ownership. And I think, he's definitely fine. He can contribute receiving the ball, which is good. Michael Carter, I liked last week. I like him again this week. Really good spot against Cincy. He's not going to be too overowned because people are worried about the other guys contributing. But Michael Carter at 5,200 on DraftKings looks really good to me. And then, yeah, that's probably it. I mean, Achane, again, like you can use him if you want. Kind of just an unknown, with their offense. But we saw last week, like he can rip off a long touchdown against anyone. So, he's going to be probably 5 or less percent owned. But the big pool for me at running back would be Genty, Etienne, Chase Brown, Tracy, Bucky, Michael Carter. Probably those guys. Moving on to receiver, Chase at the top. Want to make him a priority today. Oh yeah, Pollard, Kevin is good tournaments. I'd put him in the tournament pool. I didn't mention him, but yeah, that's a good shout there. Pollard is fine for tournaments. I want to make Chase a priority today. Like feels due for a touchdown. Really good spot. Tough to avoid Jamar Chase today. I think he's the top overall play on the board. If we look at the ownership projections outside of Chase, Jacoby, JSN, Trey Tucker, Mike Evans, Diggs, Wandale, Olave. Fine with like Jacoby in cash. Probably would not play him in GPP unless I'm stacking Lawrence. I wouldn't want off him in a tournament at this ownership. I would rather play Parker Washington for way less ownership. Tony, yeah, we're gonna make some money today. I'm feeling pretty good. Cook and JT going for the rushing title. Yes, that is a good shout there. I feel more confident in Cook getting that, to be honest, given the current state of those teams. But yeah, that is a good point there. Like Mike Evans, again, I told you he's my favorite touchdown pick for the early games. Really strong play, I think, at 6,500 in a good matchup. Kyle Williams at 33 looks like a really strong play to me. Kind of talked about he can get open for a long one against this man-heavy defense. Should be more involved, should run a ton of routes. With these guys on the outside banged up, like that's where he's going to play majority. So Kyle Williams at 33 looks really good to me as a tournament play. Downs is fine at 42. If I were just like putting my favorites together, it'd be like Chase, Evans, Diggs, Kyle Williams. I'd probably throw Trey Tucker in there too, I guess, is pretty fine. So for FanDuel, there was like a big kind of 2v2, 3v3. I was debating on FanDuel. I'm going to play Trey Tucker and Stephon Diggs on FanDuel. DraftKings, I haven't finalized my team, so I don't know for sure yet. But I do have Trey Tucker and Diggs both in on FanDuel currently in my cash game roster. Trying to see if there's anyone like super low owned. If you want like large field, Jack Beck at 3,700 for the Raiders, I think you could take a shot on. Jalen Coker at 44, you could take a shot on. Probably those two. Adonai Mitchell again is fine. No pushback there from me. At tight end, obviously we have Trey McBride at the top, Michael Mayer at the top with no Brock Bowers. I think those two are going to be pretty high owned. Like both of them, McBride's fine in a double tight end team. I think a lot of people will play double tight end on DraftKings today with McBride and Mayer or one of the other cheap guys. So I think that's fine. Like Juwan a lot again at 42. And I like Brenton Strange at 4K. Those are probably my 4 favorites. I would put Hunter Henry right behind them as well. It's just I kind of want to, if I'm stacking May, I kind of want to use Diggs and Kyle Williams and then save the tight end spot. But those 5 guys are kind of where my attention would go. And then defense. Patriots, Steelers, Giants, Browns, Titans are looking like the highest owned. I think Steelers are good. I think Browns are good with Miles chasing the sack record, but they're going to just continue to give stuff up on the ground, I think, because they're just really hunting sacks at this point. So you would need like a turnover or a touchdown from them at 2,500. Patriots are obviously good if you can get all the way up there. Buccaneers at 31 are probably fine too. Those would be my main ones there. But Pittsburgh looks like the best for me. Gainwell's fine for tournaments, Scott. I just like I feel like he's ran pretty pure. And then even last week, he made an incredible one-handed catch and scored that touchdown. But if that ball hits the turf, like his game log looks a lot different. And that's not taking anything away from him. I think he's a good player. It was a crazy catch, but I think he's ran a little bit hot. And I actually probably would lean Warren if I was picking one, just because of the Browns' run defense is really cratered. And I think Jaylen Warren can get them on the ground a little bit today. I'm also, as you can see on my screen here, I'm going against Gainwell in this championship game, and I have Jaylen Warren. So I really need Jaylen Warren over Gainwell. Sky, I need this bad. My guys are not helping me out at all. And this is a pretty big buy-in. This was a $350 buy-in league, so we're actually playing for some pretty big payouts here. I think first is $1,200 and second is $600, so it's like double your money if I win versus coming in second. All right, that does it for the DFS stuff, though. Favorite stacks, Drake May, love today, number 1. Burrow and Lawrence. And then if you're looking for a lower-owned one, probably Baker, Evans, I don't know. Who else? You could put them with, like, Otten if you want to. Hubbard or Sampson? I'd probably go Sampson, to be honest. Sam Darnold seeing ghost Panthers defense. Yeah, you could. Panthers defense is fine. They're cheap at home. Don't hate that. I mean, we've seen Darnold have those games where he throws some interceptions. So, yeah, I don't have any issues with the Panthers defense today. Betting-wise, like I said, I don't really like any sides today. You could talk me into Seattle a little bit, maybe. You could talk me into the Bears tonight. But for touchdowns, Mike Evans, Luther Burden are probably my 2 favorites. I like the long shots in the Patriots game. I like Parker Washington in the Jacksonville game. I'm going to tweet out after the stream Mike Evans and Luther Burden. And I'll do a parlay too. I already put it in. I just need to post it. But yeah, I'll do that after the stream. Trey McBride will be chalky in cash, I think, CJ, yes. On DraftKings, not FanDuel. I don't think you need to play him on FanDuel. DraftKings, I think people will play double tight end and put Trey McBride in. It's really not playing double tight end with McBride. He's a receiver anyways, but I think people will play Michael Mayer and Trey McBride on DraftKings. I don't know about players sitting in week 18. I do think there will be players that sit in week 18. I just don't know how it will affect like the incentive stuff. I think the incentive stuff used to be more valuable than it is now. It's more publicly available now. More people talk about it. So I think that kind of takes the edge away because the books price things differently than they used to. So I don't pay as much attention to it as I used to, but I do think there's some things that are, applicable for sure. And I do think people will sit next week. Like I said, week 17, when I started the stream, this is basically week 18 with how the teams are treating it. So yeah, next week will probably be even worse. There's going to be a lot to sift through next week. And that's why it makes it harder to, write and make content about it, because I could write something on Wednesday and it's just completely not useful by the time we get to the weekend. Gainwell, Carter, or Tracy in cash. I would go Tracy. I would rank those guys Tracy, Carter, Gainwell in that order. I think Tracy's the safest. I like Carter a lot for GPP, but Tracy would be a better cash option, I think. All right, I'm going to go finalize my teams, my cash team on DraftKings. I'll post the bets later. Stay tuned to my Twitter. I'll tweet some stuff out throughout the day. Hopefully Mike Evans scores to start our day out. DraftKings cash 2v2 Evans, Bucky versus ETM Wanda. Take that second one, CJ. I think that second one looks pretty good. 3 Raiders and FanDuel cash. I have 2, Kevin. I have Genty and Trey Tucker. I did not play Mayer on FanDuel, so I just have 2 Raiders there. Ladder play for me is going to be Luther Burden, I think. Nothing else stuck out to me, but probably Luther Burden if I had to imagine. Really feel strong about him tonight. If you're a big moviegoer, I would recommend seeing Marty Supreme. I saw it on Friday. Thought it was really good. I've seen some mixed reviews about it, but I thought it was a very good movie. So if you guys like movies, I would check that out. Where do you post your cash lineup? Check my Twitter. 1-for-1 in my bio. If you go to my website, you can find it there. So yeah, if you like movies, go see Marty Supreme. Stranger Things finale is coming up this week. We've got huge college football coming up, rest of the playoffs on New Year's Eve and then New Year's Day. So lots to talk about on stream this week. I'll be live tomorrow at 4 o'clock. We will recap today and probably obviously talk Monday Night Football, and then we'll talk some college football playoff stuff as well. So good luck today. Stay tuned to my Twitter for some picks later, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.